Okay, so here we got the little Gehl 540 loader. We're going to kind of do a walkthrough on this. It's got a cage snowplow on it, 8-foot cage snowplow on it. Here's our auxiliary hydraulics. We check, make sure they're secure, that the hose isn't going to get pinched. How it sits right now is good. We check and make sure that the quick attach for the skid steer is locked. Right, this is up a little bit, but it's not. It's still locked. It's just a little bit of play. That's a hydraulic quick attach. So that's latched, and that's latched down here, and that this is in the groove there. We just walk around and we look. We check all 4 tires, make sure no tires are low. We look underneath the machine every time before we use it. Make sure that there's no puddles of oil, things like that. We'll have to go around the other side for the hood here. This is where we put diesel in this machine. It's right here. This is where we put our diesel in. Really kind of got to jam it in here to fit everything, so be a bit of an acrobat. This is a master switch. If it doesn't ever want to turn on, right there. That's how we give power to the machine. And then every time before we use it, we're going to check our engine oil level. Okay, that is good. Doing this one-handed is a little bit tricky. If it needs engine oil, it takes 540 diesel engine oil. We have some up on the shelf up there. Other than that, everything else should be good with the machine. We checked that the coolant reservoir is in safe operating range, which it is. So that's good. So now we'll move on to in the cab. With these doors, if you do want a little bit of airflow, this goes up. The door can latch like that. Okay, if you want some air, because there's no windows per se in here, so that's kind of like your window. But you just got to make sure that you close this all the way down and you don't open it up with this part way up and take out the window. Okay, so that's your window. And then in the cab, we turn the key 1 click and we wait for this glow plug light to go out. Takes a few seconds. It's preheating our cylinders. Then as soon as that light goes out, it starts right up. Shouldn't really have any issue. If it ever does, give it a little bit of throttle to get it started, but it shouldn't need much. Okay, and then we have our fan control right there. Here's our heat selector. If you ever have issues with it fogging up in here, this is the first thing you should do is you turn on our little circulator fan. That should help keep you from fogging up. This is how you lock and unlock your attachments. Do not touch that unless our hoses are unhooked on the front of the machine. Okay. Here's our strobe. Here's our flashers. And here's our lights right there. So whenever we're out operating, lights on, strobe on. Don't use your flashers, so that way you can use your turn signals when you're in traffic. People know what you're doing. Okay? Our strobe is telling people that we're slow. Over here, emergency brake, that has to be off for the machine to move. And then as far as the machine moving, it's right here, forward, backward. Okay. So I'll wiggle us out of here. Show you how this plow works. Cautious coming in and out of the garage with the plow. The door is not much wider than the plow is. So okay, so these cage plows, they're pretty simple in how they work. I'll show you how the hydraulics work first. On the front of the joystick right here, there's two buttons. When we push one button, goes left. When we push the other button, the plow goes right. As soon as the plow stops moving, quit pushing the button, because we're putting pressure on the hoses at that point. And you don't want it throttled up when the plow's moving either, because that'll just increase the chance of blowing a hose or something. So, and then as far as how the cage works, to take the box off, like if you wanted to go back drag a bunch of stuff, make some windrows, you just tilt it forward, and then if you can see those hooks on the front, tilt it forward, and then you back out. You see the pins drop out of those hooks there? Okay, so now we just have a plow. And it'll work great for back dragging, making windrows, all of that stuff. But when you got your windrows made and you need to actually physically move the snow to the other side of the lot, you're going to come in here, you're going to line up both your hooks, you're going to tilt down, you got to get just the right angle on it. Drops in, and when those pins are locked into those hooks all the way, then you're good, and you got a box on. And that's how the cage system works. The really important thing about this, when just like the Snow Wolf, we don't want to have pressure on the front of our box. Okay? Those are just rubber pads, and we're going to wear those out really fast and do some damage to the box. We want to have the pressure on the main cutting edge. And I'll show you what I'm talking about here. I'll get out here. Okay, so we want to have our plow angled so that the pressure is on this cutting edge and not on these. Because you see how this wears funny like that? That's because we have too much pressure on the front of this and not enough pressure on the main cutting edge. Okay, and you control that by tilting the plow. So you want to have the plow tilted back towards you as much as possible, and this just barely riding on the ground to keep the snow in it. Okay. So, yeah, that pretty much covers this Gehl loader. We got a radio up here. Yeah, fuel gauge works. So we just keep it full of 50-50 blend diesel, winter diesel. We don't want to put number 2 diesel in unless we absolutely have to. So, and we want to bring it back to the shop full of fuel every time that when we're done using it, we fill it full of fuel. So that pretty